This is my Behmor 1600 plus model coffee roaster. I bought this about a year and a half ago, I believe in 2016. So it is the plus model. I got it pulled apart here, and the plus model looks like that. It has an upgraded panel, which gives you manual roasting, which you can accomplish through these P buttons here, as well as the old auto roasting. And it also comes with a new smaller grid drum, which you see there. I believe this is the same model they're offering in 2017. So what I did here is I kind of modified the control panel. I put a switch, which you see I installed right here, a little micro switch. Show you what the panel looks like. I have it unplugged from the fan here, just so I can get it off to show you guys. But the panel, when you put it back in place here, I got it on its side here on the bench. The panel has, I think, 5 or 6 screws. The right side panel, you have to take out there's 3 there, and I think there's 2 in the back here, and 1 on the top here. So you just pop those out, unscrew them, and there's 2 tabs in the top. So you slide this forward, and these tabs, which you see right there, there and there, those will slide out, and your plug for the fan is plugged in right there. And now there's I think 4 thermocouples on this machine. Show you to them here. So here's one right here. Here's another one, and then this red wire here is another thermocouple, and the white one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 thermocouples, which are essentially thermometers, which monitor your temperatures for the machine. I believe this one, the white one, I believe monitors ambient temperature, or the temperature on your circuit board here, which comes to the front. Red one comes back to the back here. You can see it's mounted right there, which I believe measures the temperature of your air coming in into through that. Next thermocouple, you got these white wire and yellow wire here. Yellow wire, I believe, comes into down tucked under here. You see that ceramic there, and the wire going into it are your heaters, your quartz heaters, I believe. And then a little tough to see. If you look down there, there's the yellow wire. That one looks kind of whitish grayish. That's an insulation on the yellow wire. So you got 2 yellow wires coming here, and you see the little mount. That's the mount through the thermocouple, and that's the thermocouple. I can't pull my drum out right now, but that's the one that they always want you to clean on the interior, right by the quartz heater that measures the interior chamber's temperature. And the white one right here, this wire is the one that you want to focus on for this little hack. That wire comes into your cooling chamber and is mounted right there. So that measures the temperature of your cooling chamber. So what we can do is essentially just bypass that thermocouple on your cooling chamber here and right here. So if you pull that thermocouple out while your machine's off, it'll essentially read 32 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning it's cold. So it thinks that the machine's cold. Now, of course, you never want to run it with that disconnected, because I believe it would just keep on heating up. It wouldn't know when it's too hot. So it's dangerous to leave that removed permanently. So you want to remove that more or less when your machine's just turned back on and you want to start it. When your cycle ends, when you Err7 out. So, for example, here's what you can do is you run your machine, it times out, you don't hit the start button in time. So you see the flashing light with 30 seconds left. You time out and it enters cool mode. And what you want to do is turn your machine off, and quickly, because it's hot, which is bad, so typically you don't want to turn it off while it's hot. So you'll turn it off, and then what you can do is basically just pull this white thermocouple out, and it will measure then think it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Start your machine back up, and it'll start right back up. You can continue your roast, so your beans won't be ruined. And then once it starts back up, plug that thermocouple in. Again, be very careful of not touching anything in here because all this power will be hot. It'll be live. So if you plug your thermocouple back in, it'll just basically continue your roast. It'll start a new time, but you'll be roasting on. It'll still be warm. Won't ruin your beans. Now what I've done is, rather than pulling that thermocouple out every time, you can install a switch that will more or less bypass the thermocouple. So it thinks it's disconnected or it's reading 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what you see here is I have a switch installed. So I cut one of the wires on the thermocouple. I actually have two of them disconnected, but you don't have to do that. I found out after the fact. I bypassed the red thermocouple wires here, which you don't have to do. You only have to focus on the white ones going to the cooling chamber thermocouple. So basically just cut one of the white thermocouple wires, and these two wires here, these are just random colors I have laying around. This black wire with a white stripe is one I put in, and the other one is this one, a white wire. So these pretty much just go to a switch and will bypass the thermocouple. So when the switch is on, it'll just continue, the circuit will continue through these wires and act as normal. When you turn the switch off, it will disconnect the thermocouple. So it's reading, it thinks it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit, so it can start back up. So I have the wires coming down through here again. I have the red wires here also cut and go to the switch, but you don't have to do that. I thought that the system would monitor that thermocouple as well, but it does not. You can restart with that still hot. So the wires come down through the bottom. I just kind of wove them through one of the cooling channels there in the bottom. I took some mounting tape. This is just a little micro switch I had laying around. Focus in here. And it's just a little push button. You can use any switch you want, a little toggle switch. You could just have two wires here. You just connect together and touch. So when that switch is on, the unit acts as normal. Everything's normal. And when I turn it off, with it coming out, it will disconnect that thermocouple. I can hit start and restart my cycle again. And then I turn my switch back on, and then the thermocouple's reading as normal, and then I can save my roast. So that's really about it. And then you throw your panel back on when you're done. Remember to connect your fan back up, and you're good to go. And then, so anytime you Err7 out, you would just turn your machine off, hit your switch, fire it back up, and then turn your switch back on to operate as normal. Thank you.